Hello once again, YouTube. Chris the Nightbringer here, bringing you some StarMade New Fleetworks. And in the last episode, or the episode before then, I was talking about the ship HP update and the changes that would be done to some of my ships. And we are sitting in front of the Emperor right here. And I'll be talking about this ship, among other things, concerning the HP update, I guess. And other things related to the New Fleetworks project. So, as you can see, I've done a little bit of exterior detailing, and of course, with the HP update, I have refit this ship, along with the Amar Emperor, which is now updated on the dock. I have also updated the Caldari Ibis, and I believe the Caldari Cormorant. So they should all be up to date. They should have all the proper stats for the update to ship HP and all that crap. As you can see, I've added some gray onto the ship, and that's because in EVE they've been doing lots of like overhauls to the rendering system and the textures of ships, so you can see some more colors on the ships now, which is nice, and the colors are really vibrant. Not vibrant, but they stand out more, and they're more of a contrast in between all the different bits of hull and stuff, which is nice. It brings out the detail, which means I get to do more detail work on my ships. Stuff like these little mass enhancers that are detailed. Some very slight and minimal color changes, like the flaps here and this side panel here, so that's nice. And of course I've done a little bit of detailing down here. So internally, if we go up here and into the ship, you can see that a lot of the standard armor has been replaced with regular hull. I did keep all the advanced armor that is inside because this ship is supposed to be relatively well armored, but having standard armor in here just weighed it down too much. I do have plenty of extra space, and to be completely honest, I could probably throw in some standard armor, but I don't think I'm going to do that. In the future, I might need this space, and I don't really... If I have extra space, I'm going to keep it as best as I can. I know that I keep saying that I'm going to fill up ships with as much systems as I can, but honestly, it's just becoming hard to do that based on the system that I want to follow. I do want the ships to be... I do want some aspects of the ships to be balanced with each other. Things like ship armor and ship HP are just way too hard, because every single block you add changes the ship HP and the ship armor values, pretty much, and that's just a pain to figure out in comparison to the other ships, and it's just not worth doing. So, in the future, when it comes to things like larger ships where I have more room available, it's entirely possible that that will be easier to accomplish. It could go in the complete opposite direction. It could be a million times harder to get those values all figured out compared to each other. I've added some bracing to the pod here, and that's pretty much it. There's not much else going on in the inside of this thing that I have changed. I did realize, however, that there was a block missing over here, so until I update the thing on the forums, there's going to be a block missing on the ship right there. Anyway, one thing that has changed that is pretty big, of course, is the armor effect bonus that was on this ship. So, in the past, there was a piercing effect applied to the ship, and it was a default system that you could activate at any time. The computer was right here, and I probably explained it in a past video, so maybe you remember. But essentially, in the past, what piercing effect did was, if you shot at a ship, piercing effect would negate like a percentage of that damage done to blocks, but it would mean your shields were weaker. Now, I don't know how much of an impact it made on shields. I don't know if it scaled the same way or whatever, if it was like you had 10% bonus to armor, if you had a 10% negative effect to shields or something. I have no idea. But that's how it was supposed to work. With the HP update, that has kind of changed both piercing and punch through. And now what piercing does is it takes, instead of 50% of damage going to the armor HP, 75% of the damage is done to the armor HP. Now, that's good if you want to preserve the life of blocks, but if you're trying to preserve the armor of your ship, the armor HP, it's pretty bad. If you're trying to preserve the armor of the ship, the armor HP that is, then you should use punch through, because what that does is it completely negates some of the damage done to the armor HP, which essentially means that it's negating damage in general, which is nice. Half the damage is done to the armor blocks, the physical blocks, and then half the damage goes to the armor HP value, and when you activate this punch through effect, part of that damage will not make it through, which is great. So I have found out that you need significantly less blocks in order to accomplish an 8% bonus to the armor protection that I had before with the punch-through system, which is really nice. So if I jump in here real quick and... oh, is it not on the hotbar? That's not good. Wait a minute. Oh, right, I'm in a different ship. Okay. Let me jump into that ship. And now... Why am I looking backwards? Okay, that's what I wanted. Jeez, what a mess I've just turned this video into. Punch through effect, and it says I have an 8.1% effect efficiency, which I hope means 8.1% of the damage done to armor HP is negated. I have no idea if that's actually how it scales, but that's what I'm hoping. I don't want, you know, confusing math. I want it to simply state how much damage is being negated, so hopefully that is the case. So, that is what's going on with the Amarr Imperator. It should be updated on the forums, and you can totally download it if you want. I've kind of cleaned up the exterior hull a little bit. If you look at this ship here, which is the Con Ed version with some mining lasers attached, you can see how choppy the front end is and how broken up some of this armor plating is in terms of, you know, the wedging and stuff, and it's kind of ugly. And over here you can see that it's a little bit smoother, so that's nice. Another thing that I did is I made a Hematos. So if you don't know what this is a faction ship. This is owned by the Blood Raiders faction. And basically, the Blood Raiders are a cult of, like... I don't know if they're religious fanatics or if they're just fanatics in general, but they do a lot of rituals with blood. And it's gotten to the point where these people will do anything they can do to get their hands on blood for their rituals. And I believe they paint their ships in blood, externally and internally, which is just nuts. It's one of the more crazier things that happened in EVE Online, so I'm going to jump into that ship real quick, which is what I was in before. So yeah, it's a really nice look. It's, of course, supposed to be basically the same thing as that, just covered in blood, which is absolutely nuts. Internally, all the lights have been replaced with orange. All the stats, of course, are different. And the brown has pretty much been replaced with black, which I think looks a little bit nicer and more fitting for these people. That kind of reminds me of, like, space vampires, which is fitting to as a description to these guys because they use things called energy vampires, which basically drain the energy from enemy ships and supply it to their own capacitor levels, which is pretty neat. And that is something I can do in StarMade, so whenever I get around to designing energy vampires, I can put those in. They also use energy neutralizers, which I believe is just, in general, damaging the capacitor levels of an enemy ship, which is also something I can do in StarMade by using weapons with... What is it? Is it like ion effect? No, it's not ion effect. What is it? It's EMP, or whatever. Whatever it is. It's one of those things. But yeah, basically those two types of weapon systems are possible in StarMade, and I'll be fitting it onto the ship eventually. The only thing that sucks is it has one less turret hardpoint, so the two turrets on the sides are no longer an option, but it does additional damage. So whenever I get around to figuring out how much damage is output by the weapons turrets for the Amarr, you guys will be getting them. So, what does this mean for... or what do I have planned for future ships and future ship releases? And what are my next plans in terms of what I want to do with this project? First, I would like to finish all the drones. I've only completed like 4 or 5 of them. They're all up here. And I'll real quick just show you. How many drones do I have? I've got 5. So I have the Amarr Acolyte 2, and then I have a few other variants. Augmented one, Imperial Navy, and Integrated. Which is all great and dandy, but chances are these things are heavy as fuck, because the armor and all that stuff. There's minimal thrusters on these things, so I do not doubt that they are very slow, which needs to be changed. They should be quite fast, so I will be putting on lesser armor onto most of them, I think. I'm also going to see if there's any possible way that I can increase weapons damage output on these things. Of course, I'm going to have to put on rail dockers on the bottom, which means the layout of them will have to be changed as well. So overall, I'm just going to redesign the drones completely. Of course, I'm going to keep the shape and all that and the size, because those are accurate. And I'll be doing that with all other drones that I can think of. And then after that is the bombers and fighters. Those need to be redesigned as well, because... oh, geez, I mean, this thing right here should be covered in only a little bit of advanced armor, and the entire thing is made of advanced armor, and I can only assume this thing flies really crappily, so I'm actually going to jump into it real quick. Oh, it's not that bad. It's not that bad, but I know for a fact that it would just be better off if I increased its speed, or thrust-to-mass ratio, by reducing how much weight was on it. So I think I'll be doing that with these ships, along with the other ones that, you know, I should probably take a look at because of the changes of the HP system anyway. So that is on the list of things to do: bombers, fighters, all the drones, and then, once those are finished, I will be continuing work on frigates. Now, the next frigate that I think I want to finish is the Venture. It's the one that's closest to completion at the moment, which is pretty sweet, and I think I'll be working on that. After that, I decided that I'm only going to work on frigates. And I don't know which one it will be. I don't want to promise anything to you guys, because you guys constantly ask for very specific ships, and I can't supply them to you because I just don't have enough time to work on every single one of these things, as much as I would love to. But I would love to get, at the very least, ships that I can actually fly in EVE finished. Which is actually quite a wide variety of ships. I can fly quite a number of ships in EVE Online, because I've trained into a lot of them. At the very minimum, I can fly them. I'm not good at flying them, but I can fly them. So I think that's going to be the plan. And, yeah, so this ship I don't think I can fly, but it was just a really easy alternative skin for this, and there was a few system adjustments. Holy shit. Did you guys hear that? That was a massive firework, and it was really close, and that's kind of scary. One last thing is, I would like to ask you guys, if I release alternate ship skins, how would you like me to go about it? I can release them through contests, I can release them through my stream, I can figure out a way to give them away on stream, give them away through the channel. You guys can possibly get them other ways. Figure out how you guys would like to get ship skins, alternate ship skins, if you care, because I've come to the conclusion that I don't want to easily give away every ship skin that I ever had made. So, yeah. This video was entirely incoherent in my head, and I made up a ton of this shit as I went along, so I'm sorry if I seemed a little out of it. Thank you for watching, subscribe if you want to see more, definitely leave your feedback down below, and yeah, I'll see you next time. And I believe the Caldari Cormorant. So they should all be up to date. They should have all the proper stats for the update to ship HP and all that crap. As you can see, I've added some gray onto the ship, and that's because in EVE they've been doing lots of like overhauls to the rendering system and the textures of ships. Very slight and minimal color changes, like the flaps here and this side panel here, so that's nice. And of course I've done a little bit of detailing down here. So, internally, if we go up here and into the ship, you can see that a lot of the standard armor has been replaced with regular hull. I did keep all the advanced armor that is inside because this, so you can see some more colors on the ships now, which is nice, and the colors are really vibrant. Not vibrant, but they stand out more, and they're more of a contrast in between all the different bits of hull and stuff, which is nice. It brings out the detail, which means I get to do more detail work on my ships. Stuff like these little mass enhancers that are detailed. Some this ship, among other things concerning the HP update, I guess. And other things related to the New Eden Fleetworks project. So, as you can see, I've done a little bit of exterior detailing, and of course, with the HP update, I have refit this ship. Along with the Amar Emperor, which is now updated on the dock, I have also updated the Caldari Ibis. Hello once again, YouTube. Chris the Nightbringer here, bringing you some StarMade New Eden Fleetworks. And in the last episode, or the episode before then, I was talking about the ship HP update and the changes that would be done to some of my ships. And we are sitting in front of the Emperor right here, and I'll be talking about